You know, when you see a plastic bottle on the side of the road, what do you see? Just trash, right? Well, what if I told you it wasn't just an object? What if it was a character? The hero of this incredible century-long story of survival and, believe it or not, purpose.
Yeah, that's the big question we're diving into today. We're going to follow the life of one single plastic bottle, not as a piece of waste, but as this vessel on an absolutely epic journey.
And the source for this whole thing is fascinating. It actually imagines this bottle's life as a story told in 118 different moments. You heard that right, 118 moments of learning and, well, conflict. And it all kicks off in the total chaos of a factory, with just one single, overwhelming force pushing it forward.
And right from the get-go, our little bottle learns this absolutely crucial lesson. It's the philosophy that's going to carry it through its entire super long life. And it's this: holding a perfect rigid shape, that's way more dangerous than just adapting and going with the flow. Flexibility is survival. Being too stiff, well, that's the real threat.
Okay, so let's get into it. Act 1, a vessel is forged. And you'll see, this isn't your average factory production line. This is more like a violent but totally purposeful birth.
I mean, just try to picture it. You've got this insane blast of heat, this immense pressure from a mold that's its entire world. Its whole existence is just this one-directional push forward, aiming for that tiny bit of light at the end of the line.
And this is where it learns its first big lesson about partnership. See, on its own, the bottle is, well, it's kind of weak and wobbly. It's not complete. But the second it's filled with water, bam, it becomes the strong, purposeful vessel. It finds out that its real strength isn't something it has on its own. It's relational. The water inside is what makes it whole. So the big takeaway, right, is that its purpose is tied to what it holds. But you know, with that new strength comes a really dangerous flaw: rigidity. Because what happens when that water inside freezes solid? The bottle becomes totally unyielding, and that perfect, rigid shape, it nearly shatters it. It only survives because it eventually thaws out. And that's when it truly learns. Being perfect and unchanging is way, way more dangerous than being able to adapt.
So that first big lesson in being flexible, it sets the stage for the next phase, the cycle of purpose. This is its first life out in the real world, a cycle of being used, thrown away, and then, and this is amazing, being reborn. And during this cycle, it has this really profound moment. After its water is gone, it's just floating in this quiet, still pool. And there, in total equilibrium, it has a realization. Maybe peace isn't about striving and having a purpose. Maybe sometimes it's just about existing.
And this first life, it has a really clear rhythm to it. It's pretty simple: consumed and discarded, dropped and damaged, collected and sorted, and then reborn and renewed. It's this perfect, predictable loop, right? From having a purpose to getting damaged and then getting a fresh start. And I think the bigger idea here is that it learns that even after being broken, there's a system that can give it a new purpose. Endings aren't always final. Sometimes they're just loops.
And think about all the little things it experiences inside that cycle. When it's bundled up with other bottles, it learns about community. When it gets dropped, it learns about resilience, how to bend instead of just breaking. It even feels this weird pull, like an instinct, drawing it toward the recycling center to complete the pattern. And then it comes out the other side, all polished and new again.
But that neat little cycle doesn't last forever. Eventually, it breaks. The bottle gets thrown out again, but this time, there's no recycling center waiting. This time, it's the start of something else entirely, a much, much longer, slower, and totally unseen journey. And get this, look at how its role, its purpose, totally transforms over 100 years. In year 1, it's an anchor. 10 years in, it's a shield. After 50 years, it's an archive. And after a full century, it's a guardian, a silent guardian. So you're probably wondering, how does a plastic bottle do all that? Well, during a big windstorm, its weight, as small as it is just enough to act as an anchor for lighter trash. It creates this tiny little island of stability. And then, over the decades, its actual plastic structure starts to absorb heavy metal ions from the water. It's literally sacrificing its own integrity to act as a shield.
But it's so important to get this whole long endurance thing. It's a constant, silent fight. It's filled up with corrosive stuff, carrying these burdens it never asked for. And it has to constantly battle that corrosion just to hold its shape. Its new purpose is all about passive resistance and, really, sacrifice.
Of course, even a 100-year struggle has to end eventually, but its ending isn't as simple as just breaking. It's about the complete and total breakdown of its identity. And this is where it's all going, to a state the source calls background noise. Basically, its fragments get spread so far and so wide that it just stops being a bottle. Instead, it becomes a completely indistinguishable part of the environment itself, just material.
And the process is slow at first, and then all at once. The barcode, its last little link to the factory where it was made, it just fades away. And then one day, under some immense pressure, it finally cracks, it shatters, and its single unified identity is gone, dissolved into countless tiny fragments.
And that's it. We've reached the end, full dissolution. Its life as a bottle is completely definitively over. Its physical stuff just merges with everything around it.
But this final thought really reframes the whole thing. Is it really an end? Or is it something else? The source kind of leaves us hanging here, suggesting that this final dissolution isn't really a death. It's more like a threshold, a fleeting, noble door into a totally new kind of existence. And that's the final idea I want to leave you with. What does it actually mean for something to stop being itself and instead become part of, well, everything?